What looks unappealing to you are you always keep maintain the most. And that adds up to what can be the most expensive hobby of a man is keeping a good level of his car. Definitely Ford Endeavour has proven to be the best choice for this statement. Now Ford Endeavour has been a popular option for Indian car buyer in the full-size SUV segment. Since its launch couple of years back, it has taken on the likes of the older and current generation of the Toyota Fortuner. With new competition like Mahindra Alturas G4 in the market, the Ford has decided to spruce up the build group a little bit, and if you're wondering about the pricing, then yes, they are cheaper than the pre-facelift version. But before we go any further, let's look at the off-roading capability of this car, which is the most attracting part of this Panther. Let's have a look. Now this year 2020 has moved a bit when all cars are BS6 exhibited on compliant, and the latest car which has joined the bandwagon is the Ford Endeavour. I know it looks very familiar to the old model, but it has one big change that changes the dynamic of this car, which is the drive-train system. But we will surely get to that in a bit. However, what you need to know is now that the Ford Endeavour, despite being the BS6 emission norm compliant, variant by variant is cheaper than before. Still, entry price has gone up, but that's because you have an automatic transmission starting at the variant line and not at the main line. But that's too much information at this moment. What you need to know at this time, variant by variant, this is cheaper, and that should only mean it's an amazing thing. What is it? Let's find out. Let's start by looking at the changes that the car has got from the outside first. Well, remember this badge earlier? It would read 2.2 and 3.2 based on the engine spec that you had got, but it just read Endeavour. That's because now there is only one engine option, so there is only one badge. And the only other change on the outside is in the headlamps. The projector, which used to be so blurred in shape, and now squarish and gives better edge and illumination. And yeah, that's all about the change that it has on the outside. On the inside, it's almost all the same. Except that now have an app called Ford Pass that gives you all the usual features like remote locking, unlocking, remote start stop for the engine, remote AC control, geofencing, and so on. Now the small changes are done with, let's get to the bigger one. Well, now let's come to the really interesting part of the Ford Endeavour, the really new part about the new Endeavour, and that has to be the engine on board. This is 2-liter unit, it's called Eco Blue. It is an inline 4-cylinder unit and it is turbocharged, which means it makes 420 Newton meters of torque and 170 PS of power. But is that enough? Well, the perfect answer is yes, it's more than enough because the power and trade-off is not that big as compared to the older engine. And even if it is, it still has plenty of board in the bank wherever you would need so. Where this engine really shines though is in terms of refinement and usability. Now call it a side effect of meeting a higher emission norm or whatever in the end for you, the car will feel more linear to drive, feel more defined and its good sense of progression as well. And I quite like it this way because let's be honest, the Endeavour is going to spend most of its time in the city and highways. And there you will want this sense of calm and refinement which helps in improving your driving experience a lot. To look more at engine specification, this new 2-liter engine is designed in such a way that gives you far quieter and silent experience. If we look at terrain management system mode, normal sand, snow or mud and rock is still available as is. On top of that, the NVH levels are better because the engine is a tiny bit quieter than before, especially at idle. What's also good is that the suspension is a bit softer than before, which means the sudden pothole jerks that used to get transferred inside the cabin have been ironed out and the car simply glides on the road. This makes for a good experience driving on trails too. So yes, that engine is good, but what makes it great is the transmission. The new Endeavour gets a 10-speed automatic transmission. Yes, you read that right, a 10-speed automatic transmission. I know what you might be thinking at this point. It is going to take a lot of time to go from first gear to the 10th gear and all the way back. Fortunately, thanks to Ford's select shift technology, that's not so concerned. What this enables the transmission to do is, say for example, you're cruising around in the 9th gear and you want to overtake someone. In that scenario, the transmission will drop down directly to the 4th gear and skip all the gears in between and give you the amount of torque you require depending on your accelerator input. This makes the car efficient and usable in more ways that you might have thought of. When you combine all of it together, the Endeavour is still a monster of an SUV that can tackle anything and everything that you have to throw at it. This was especially true when we were bashing dunes as the car felt right at home. And the ease with which it gets through all the obstacles is still a pleasantly surprising experience to say the least. One big reason for that is again Ford's select shift technology, which also lets you limit the top gear to which the car can shift to. This comes in very handy while off-roading as the car remains in the gears you want. The only thing I wish it had were paddle shifters, which would make the entire operation a lot easier. But at the end of the day, not only is the new Endeavour good off-road, it's also a lot better on-road car too. It still has the amazing features in it from the older models like humongous sunroof and pretty much the best infotainment system in the segment. If I talk about not just sunroof but the panoramic sunroof will definitely add a royal feeling to this segment and your family would be really happy to drive in the new Endeavour. So all in all, it might get a smaller engine but it's a very good and an amazing better car in every way. So to sum up, I have driven it around a variety of driving conditions and went dune bashing in this, which was without a doubt a lot of fun. However, let's sum up this car as to what it should be for you. First thing first, this is more competitively priced starting at about 29.5 lakh, which makes it better value for money than before. It might have lost the 3.2-liter engine and the 2.2-liter engine options, but the new 2-liter diesel engine is really competitive in that respect. It is also a very good engine to drive around in both off-roading and city conditions as well. So without any doubt, the new Ford Endeavour is better value for money than before. And given the fact that it will be one of the few big SUVs being offered with a BS6 emission non-compliant diesel engine, along with an automatic transmission, makes it one that really stands out of the crowd. So what do you feel about the new Endeavour? Please tell us in the comment section below, and thank you for watching India Cars World.